What is up, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to DVDs, Nuts, and Popcorn. I'm your host, the PMM, the Physical Media Mac, PMM Entertainment. And I am going to bring you today, I don't know if I'm going to do two parts or one part here. I got a lot of DVDs to show off. This is going to be quite the chore. But I am bringing you today, ladies and gentlemen, my 2023 horror DVD collection. Hundreds and hundreds of movies here we're about to go through. Now, at the risk of being super redundant, I've talked about a lot of these films in my pickups videos, so you can go back and check out my pickups videos if you want to learn more about these movies. We have a lot to go through here, so I'm going to try to be brief if I can. Let's jump right into it. Sipping on some cold brew coffee. Because I'm feeling kind of low energy. Hopefully I can build some momentum here. All right, let's start with the numbers. We're going to go numerically. First film here, 30 Days of Night. Actually a cool concept. I guess in Alaska. Is it Alaska? Antarctica? I don't know. Is that the same thing? Who knows? But anyway, certain parts of the country, it's dark for 30 days. And speaking of vampires, look at my cross right here. But anyway, so yeah, pretty cool place to insert a vampire in a place that's dark for 30 days straight. All right, next up here we have, this is a Joel Schumacher film. I didn't even realize that until yesterday. 8mm with Nick Cage. Got the crazy Nick Cage face right there. And yeah, man, this has got Joaquin Phoenix in it. I think James Gandolfini's in this as well. Pretty good film. I want to say he's looking for a young lady that disappeared and ends up going into the seedy world of porn and I think snuff films. It's been a while since I've seen this, but I remember this being really good. All right, you guys know I love my bad shark movies. I've not seen this one yet. Two-Headed Shark Attack. And it's funny, like the sequels to this are not Two-Headed Shark Attack 2, Two-Headed Shark Attack 3. They just add another head to the shark. Three-Headed Shark Attack, Four-Headed Shark Attack. I think it goes all the way up to like Five-Headed Shark Attack. Another shark film here. I'm not a huge fan of this. The shark is well presented in this. You can see it in the back there. I don't know if that's picking up on camera. But 12 Days of Terror. I want to say this was a made-for-television movie. Just a mediocre film. It does have John Rhys Davies in it. And this is what inspired... This is a true story, or based on terrifying true events that inspired Jaws. Where some people were killed by sharks, I think in New Jersey. Way back in 1912, I think. Yeah, man, a long time ago. All right, moving on. Let's go into the A's. The deadliest film ever made. Antrim. I remember this being pretty good. Dollar Tree pickup, $1.25 bush. Oh God, this is horrible. I didn't realize this till yesterday as well. This is it's either produced or directed by David Sterling, so you know it's gonna be shit. But anyway, Alien 3000. It does have my boy Lorenzo Lamas in it. You do not see that creature in the film whatsoever. It's just if that creature was in the film, it would be good. It's not. Trust me. The terrible CGI monster. All right, here's a classic Takashi Miike film right here, Audition. I remember watching this when it first came out, man. Kind of disturbing, man. She has this this psychopathic woman has, I think, this guy on her bedroom floor, or in her house or apartment or whatever, and he's in a potato sack, and she's like feeding him throw up out of a dog bowl. It's just disgusting. And you can see right there, she has that, we call that PVC wire or PVC string. It's made to, like in the maintenance world, we use it to cut pipes in like tight spaces. Use the PVC string. So, but I guess you can also cut off ankles, decapitate heads with it as well. So, yeah, classic film there, man. It's a German horror film right here. It's got the girl from Run Lola Run in it. Franca Potente. Probably pronouncing her name wrong. Anatomy. I remember enjoying this one. It's based on the premise that in order to advance medical research, this underground society at this medical school has to dissect living bodies. So they start kidnapping people and dissecting them while they're alive. It's pretty spooky, man. Can you imagine being carved up while you're breathing? Next up, I know nothing about this film. I'm not even sure why I picked it up. Asylum. Another classic here. Mickey Rourke, Robert De Niro. Who plays a better devil than Robert De Niro? Al Pacino? No, I don't think so. I think Robert De Niro is the ultimate devil. He's really good in this. Mickey Rourke's great in it. Lisa Bonet, fresh off a Cosby Show. This is the first time she was like naked on screen. And yeah, cool twist in this film. I love when Mickey Rourke's character is sitting at the church with Robert De Niro, and he asks, you know, who are you? And, you know, Robert De Niro's character says, my name is Louis Cypher. It's a play on words, Louis Cypher, Lucifer. I thought that was really clever. Yeah, man, good shit. Put those in here. It's going to be hard to juggle movies here. All right, next up, As Below, or As Above, So Below. I think this is filmed like in the catacombs of London. Yeah, miles of twisting catacombs lie beneath the streets of Paris. Pretty cool film. Next up, we have the remake, the 2005 remake. This was actually produced by Michael Bay and stars Ryan Reynolds. The Amityville Horror. I remember this being a good remake. Oh yeah, IFC film here, ATM. This is ridiculously cheesy and so unbelievable, but I actually got some really, I actually had really fun with this one, man. I'm not gonna lie. Basically, this guy with this dressed in this, what is it, a Parker, is yielding an axe, and these two guys and a girl, I think they're coming from the club or something, or drinking at a bar, and they want something to eat, so they have to stop at an ATM. And this is around, this is weird, this is around the time in my neighborhood they actually came out with one of these. I had never seen them before, where you can use your credit card to get in the door, and there's multiple ATMs inside. There's air conditioning, windows and stuff. So mine's not as big as this one. This is a large one that they actually built for the movie, but they actually do have these now. And so anyway, he's just like torturing them, and they're trapped inside of there. And if I remember correctly, like somehow he finds a way to fill up the ATM with water, or the ATM building with water, and they're like drowning inside the ATM building, which is so ridiculous. Like water would definitely seep through the doors, electrical outlets and whatnot. There's no way it would fill up with water, but yeah, man, this actually has kind of a cool twist to it as well. A movie that I've not seen before that I picked up, I think off of Amazon, Bruce Campbell and Alien Apocalypse. I heard it's really bad, but it's supposed to be cheesy fun, so I look forward to checking that out one day. All right, I have, by the way, I'll show all my, you know, multi-movie DVDs later on, or at the end of the video. I do have every one of these. I'm a big fan of the franchise here. The Friday the 13th ripoffs, Bloody Murder. This is part 2 in the franchise. The killer is back to finish the job. And that's what this is. It's a blatant ripoff of Friday the 13th. But it's done in such a fun, campy way, man. I really highly recommend these if you have not checked these out. Good fun, man. Next up, we have the OG, the Blair Witch Project. Good shit. And we'll go right to, I do not own part 2, which I think is called Book of Shadows, which I enjoyed as well. But I do have a movie that took me a while to come around on. I think this is basically like a remake of the first one. This is the most recent Blair Witch. And, you know, like the first 45 minutes to an hour, like just, it's basically you're watching like the first movie. It's just like a carbon copy of it. It's just a waste of time. I was not enjoying myself. And then, oh man, the final act in this film is absolutely phenomenal, man. Such a badass visual, audio, everything, man. It's just so badass about that last house that they're in and the way they present it on screen. I would love to see this movie at a movie theater, to see that last sequence in you know, a movie theater with surround sound, man. Very cool ending, man. The ending of this movie turned me around to being a fan of this film. That's how good it is. All right, I think this is the last A, and then we'll move on to B's. All right, I've mentioned before in the past how I'm a huge fan of the name of movies, and I will turn the blind eye to a bad movie if it has a great name, and I still feel like it's shelf worthy. And this is no exception to the rule right here. Your killer vacation awaits at Aqua Slash. Just a great name, like Slash Dance. Aqua Slash, man, I just love the name. And so this is an aqua park or water park horror film, guys. It is really, really bad, but it's so bad that it's actually pretty good, man. It's got the actress from, damn, what is her name? I lost a note on it. She's in, let's see if I can come up with her name here. Brittany Drisdale. She's in something that's like a popular series. I can't remember her name, but she's really good in the film. She kind of saves the film. But man, there is a scene on the slide, one of those like tubular slides, that is so epically badass, man. Just for that scene alone, you have to watch this film. Alright, let me get through the B's real quick here. Alright, killer dog movie. We have The Breed, The Butterfly Effect, Shutter movie here with the Slippy Dip, Barge People. Or is it The Barge People? Yep, The Barge People. This is basically like not a home invasion, but a boat invasion film. It's one of those movies that has something bad going on, and then something else even worse happens to compound matters. And so a boat invasion's going on, and then all of a sudden these creatures are coming out of the water, killing everybody. I remember that being pretty good, man. Gory film. Good practical effects and all. Next up, we have Brain Dead with the two Bills, Bill Pullman and Bill Paxton. Rest in peace to Bill Paxton. I think Pullman's still alive. Now, I often say this, I'm not really a big fan of zombie movies, even though I'm a huge fan of Return of the Living Dead 2 and 3. For sure. A lot of the zombie films I have no interest in watching. This is a really cool take on it. It's called The Battery. And the best part of it, the movie, I think, is the relationship of these two guys. I can't remember if they're brothers or friends, but they used to be on a baseball team together. So there's a lot of baseball and sports analogies and references going on in the movie. And then it's got, the name of the movie is cool because it has like double meaning, where they're searching for a battery to, I think, fix their car so they can drive away out of the area that they're at, so they can see if there's any humans left. It's like the end of the world. It's like no humans except for them. And then I think there's like a battery. They find a battery to a radio, and they actually start talking to somebody. And then, of course, you have battery, like assault and battery, where they're using the bat to kill zombies, which, you know, it's pretty badass, man. I think this is a really good film. Definitely check it out, man. I highly recommend it. All right, we have a Walmart exclusive here, a movie that I've not seen. Speaking of zombies, right? George A. Romero, Bruiser. Let me know, guys, if I tell you that I've not seen a movie, if you've seen it and it's really good and you recommend it, let me know, and I will take the plastic off some of these movies and watch them. Next up, we have Black Christmas. I think this is like a reboot. Now, the first Black Christmas is an absolute masterpiece. It's a perfect film, in my opinion. This is very imperfect, but this is a really fun film, man. From start to finish, man, the action is non-freaking stop, super over the top. It's got great practical effects and gore. And yeah, man, really enjoyed this one. Next up, I've watched Black Water. I think it's like an Australian alligator film, so I'm assuming this is the sequel. Black Water Abyss. It's another film that's not opened yet. I've not checked out. I got a big backlog, especially when it comes to DVD films. Put that up there. Oh man. This one right here this is like a hidden gem movie right here. I would say go out and find, if you can't find this, just go out and purchase off of eBay or Amazon, because I had a lot of fun with this one. So what happens in this movie, this girl, I don't know, I guess she has like insecurities and stuff, and she doesn't have much friends and stuff, but she's beautiful, and she starts dating this guy, and this guy introduces her to all his friends. And they do this hoax, this prank. I don't even think you know it at first when you're watching it. You don't even know. You think that they're being for real. But they're like sitting around. It's like the end of the night, and they're like winding down, drinking, smoking cigarettes or whatnot, smoking a joint. And they're talking to this girl, and they all come up with this thing, I guess, you know, before they met her or whatever. And they start saying how they're part of this murder group or murder cult. And each one of them has to murder somebody, and how much, how satisfying it is to murder people, what an adrenaline rush it is, and how they're best of friends. And so anyway, she's like, this is freaking crazy. You murdered somebody. But she's so like gullible and looking for, you know, love and everything. She leaves that situation and goes off on her own, and she decides to kill someone to surprise them. And she goes back and she lets them know. I can't remember if she lets them all know at first. I think she just lets her boyfriend know. And her boyfriend's like, what the F are you talking about? We were joking around with you. You murdered somebody? So it's like, it's so effed up. And I think what ends up happening is they find out about it, everyone. So now she has to kill all of them because she's scared that they're going to snitch on her. It's a really fun film, man. I would highly recommend this one, Bleed. I never hear anybody talk about this one, but it's a lot of fun. All right, next up here, moving on to we're still on the B's, right? We have Bats, starring Lou Diamond Phillips. And I'm a big fan of Lou Diamond Phillips. It's actually a really cool bad horror film. Another movie here that I've not seen, Beelzebub with Tobin Bell. I think that was a $1.25 Bush pickup. This is a MVD shop lot, or part of a lot that I ordered. Real low budget stuff here, guys, but this is a lot of fun, man. Bone Hill Road. And this is another one of those movies where there's multiple bad things happening. So I think they, I think it's a mother and a daughter like driving cross country or whatever, and they hit this huge animal. They don't know what it is, and I think they wrecked the car into the tree, or a tree, and the car won't start. They're stranded. They find out this huge animal they hit is part of a pack of werewolves, and the werewolves actually look pretty cool in the film. That's like a good representation of it. And so anyway, they run away, and like the first house they find, it just so happens that in this house is this psychopathic serial killer rapist guy who has all these girls like tied up to chairs in the dining room, and he's like carving up a girl upstairs, and he comes down and is on the stovetop cooking her flesh and like serving it to the girls that he has held hostage. And the funniest thing about this is that once they become hostages too in the house, and not one point of the film do they tell this psychopathic guy, hey, there's werewolves outside, to kind of break his concentration on, you know, torturing them, which I think is hilarious. But yeah, man, I remember having a lot of fun with this one. Cool shit. All right, I think that's all for the bees. Another movie that I've not seen. Love the title, though. Jaws. I don't know if I ever figured out what this was. It's obviously ripping off the name Jaws. And is this a boar film? Jaws. I never could figure this out. I need to check it out. It looks like a wild boar film. I think that's what it is. Does it even say on the back of it? Yeah, it's a boar film. All right, so again, I love my shark films. This has some shark, not that this is a real, I don't know if I'd even consider this a shark film, but it does have sharks in it. It's more of a, again, multiple bad things happening, like a boat. There's like a cyclone, and a boat, I think, runs out of gas, and it's like stranded, or the engine stops, and it's stranded out in the middle of the ocean. And then also a plane crashes, and the people that survived the plane crash swim over to the boat. The boat's overcrowded. They have little water that they have to share with each other, and they run out of water, and they have no food. And this one girl has this little like chihuahua or small dog, and I think they end up eating the dog, which is hilarious. And this one girl is pregnant, and I don't know if the director meant to do this. I think he did, and I was like, is the director going to go there? Is he actually going to do this? Because this would be so badass. But the girl that's pregnant has the baby on the boat while they're stranded out there. And remember, everybody's starving. And so then the one guy who like took the dog from the one lady and cooked the dog up, at one point they pass the baby around because everybody wants to hold the baby. So this guy gets the baby in his hands, and you're thinking to yourself, oh my God, are they going to effing eat the baby? But they end up not doing it. But it's like one of the most dramatic scenes when the baby's being passed around to all these, you know, guys who, you know, are not rich guys. These guys are like guys who work on the boat, you know, foreigners that, you know, look like almost like they're pirates. They're like, so I don't know. The Cyclone was a pretty good film. Yeah, pretty decent stuff. I don't know if I explained that right, but these guys are not the best of guys. They probably have criminal past and stuff, you know. And okay, so this is a cool film right here. Let me get another sip here. Yeah, man, I really enjoyed this one. Rachel LaFleur, probably saying her name wrong. My notes on this say Brittany Murphy. So I think Brittany Murphy passed on this role, and Rachel LaFleur ended up taking the role. This also has Stephen Moyer from True Blood in it. 2011 film called The Caller. And yeah, man, if you're sick of like the same old stuff, you know, this is kind of a different film. And she's getting like, I'm trying to remember, she's getting like these phone calls. Let me see. Troubled divorcee Mary Kay is tormented by a series of sinister phone calls from a mysterious woman. When the stranger implies that she's calling from the past, Mary tries to break off contact, but the caller doesn't like being ignored and looks for revenge in a unique and terrifying way. Yeah, man, really good shit. So she finds out that this lady that's calling her is actually calling from, you know, 20 years ago or in the past. So I love like time travel elements and like ghost films like this, man. Really good shit, man. Highly recommend. This is another movie that I'd never hear people talk about. But yeah, I had a lot of fun with this one. The Caller. It's got the guy from, and what is his name? I'll never find it. Is it Louis Guzman? I can't remember. He's in the back there. He's good in it. He's like the maintenance guy or something. Some calls are best left unanswered. Yeah, she never would have answered the phone, or she didn't have a phone in her house, she would have been in a lot better place, let me tell you. All right, next up, we gotta start moving here. Where are we at? Yeah, we gotta start moving. All right, one of the best anthologies of all time, Cat's Eye. It's from a Stephen King book. It's got 3 terrifying stories in it. Good shit. Another good remake here, 2020 release, directed by Tate Steinseck. He worked with Tom Savini in the past in other films, so he's a makeup special effects guy. I guess he's learned from he learned a lot of stuff from Tom Savini, and you can tell in this film because the practical effects in this film are incredible. He also did the special effects in a movie that I'm a big fan of that we'll talk about later on, the 2018 Puppet Master film. But yeah, Castle Freaks is a really fun remake. I love the original, and I think they did a good job on this remake. There's some hilarious stuff with about a vagina in this film that'll make you guys spit out whatever you're drinking or eating. I mean, it is so funny, man. It's just, I don't even know how to explain it. This Castle Freak ends up being a female, and she's like laid back in bed with her legs spread. I don't want to spoil it. You guys got to check it out, man. It is hilarious. All right, we got an infamous film right here. The 1989 Clown House, the film directed by the slimeball slug of a director, Victor Salva. And if you don't know Victor Salva, he's the one that did the Jeepers Creepers films. And yeah, the most terrifying thing about this movie is the young kid in this film is when, I believe, I guess you'd call it a sexual assault happened with the director. And I would just say, do not buy this directly from anything that's going to fund him. I bought this used off of some, you know, independent seller on eBay, so he didn't earn a dime off of this. The clowns are pretty terrifying in this movie. This is not a bad movie at all, man. I think it's a pretty good film. There's not a lot of, most of the kills are off screen, unfortunately, and there's not much gore, but the atmosphere and, you know, the kids in this film are just terrified. They do a really good job of conveying that. And Yeah, it's a pretty decent film, man. I'm a big fan of clown horror films, and this is definitely, I would say this is probably in the top 10 best clown horror films of all time. Not that it's saying a lot, because most clown horror films are terrible, but... All right, I still got my Goodwill sticker on this one. It's going to bother me. I'm going to peel it off now. I actually just watched Maximum... I was about to say Maximum Impact. No, Maximum... what is the film called? I'm losing my mind. I'm not even going to try to think of it. A film similar to this. Christine. I haven't seen this in probably 20 years. Definitely need to check it out. Car horror. Stephen King book. Maximum Overdrive is what I was thinking about. Another film where vehicles come alive. All right, this is a film that actually was a lot better than I thought as well. Now this has a Dylan Francis Penn, I guess Sean Penn's daughter, and yeah, she's a smoke show in this film. And yeah, this movie got a lot of bad reviews, but I think it was fun, man. It's a grotesque movie too. Super grotesque, man. A lot of nasty stuff going on. If I remember correctly, they're like in this building that should be abandoned, and it's like it's infested by roaches and rats, and there's just some disgusting stuff going on. And this is actually a zombie film. Is this a zombie? Yeah, this is a zombie film. Somehow this toxic substance gets introduced to that facility that they're living in, and after a virus born from their combined noxious waste and garbage infects the building's residents one by one, they succumb to a terrifying pathogen that burns them into a bloodthirsty, rampaging killers and transforms their building into a savage slaughterhouse. Yeah, this is pretty good. Condemned. All right, we have The Collector. Another sticker I need to take off. I'm a fan of the franchise. They're good films. Basically, like they're booby trap films. The Collection. That's the sequel. Can't remember if the third film's come out yet. We're still waiting for a third film in that franchise. All right, so where are we at? I don't want to move to the... I got a G in my hand. I need to go to the C's now. God, we're just at the C's? Holy shit, man. I need to move. All right, let's run through these. Creepshow 2. Everybody knows that one. I ain't going to talk about it. One of the greatest anthologies of all time. Chillerama. I've never seen that. The original OG Creepshow. Those are G's. I don't... Creep. It's a good film. I enjoyed that one and the sequel. A movie that I've never seen, Cry Wolf. I don't think I've heard great things about that, to be honest with you. Croc. And let me see. No, for some reason I was going to say, oh yeah, this is the one with Michael Madsen in it. This is not a very good film, unfortunately. I'm going to save that for later because that's multiple movies on one. I'll save both of those for later. All right, where am I at now? C's, the D's. God, this is a lot bigger task than I imagined. This is going to be tough. Oh, I got one more C here. This was actually pretty good as well. Another beautiful actress in this movie. Can't remember her name. Is Alicia Cuthbert in Captivity. It's a picture of her right now. She's a fox. And yeah, man. Good shit. Top cover girl and fashion model Jennifer Tree has it all: beauty, fame, money, and power. Everyone wants her, but some more than others. Alone after a charity event, she is drugged and taken. And yeah, it's got a twist to it though. It's not just a normal like psychopathic guy captures her. There's more to it. All right, now moving on to the D's. D's nuts. I thought I poured more. I thought I brought enough of this stuff, and I'm almost out. And I got a lot of movies to go over. All right, we have Dawn of the Dead and Land of the Dead. Dawn of the Dead. This is a remake. The OG Dawn of the Dead. Day of the Dead. H.P. Lovecraft's Dagon or Dagon. And then we have a movie called Delivery, which I do not believe I've seen as well. I don't know if he's a pizza delivery guy who kills people when he's at the door or what the hell's going on. All right, Dead Girl. This is kind of an interesting film. So they find these two friends. I don't even know if they're friends. They're just like people that know each other from school. They come up on this abandoned building and they go there to drink and smoke weed and whatnot. And then they find this girl that they think is dead at first. And the one guy's like, man, she's hot. And I think they find out that she's breathing, like that she has a heartbeat, but she's like in a comatose state where her eyes are closed and she's not moving. And he gets the brilliant idea to have sex with her. And he's trying to talk the other guy into it. And the guy's like, no, that's sick, man. What are you? You're a sick person. And so he leaves. And the other guy, like, has sex with her, like, multiple times. He's, like, bringing friends back there to have sex with her. And I think he even gets the one guy drunk at one time and gets him to have sex with her. I can't remember. It's been a while since I've seen it. And eventually this girl wakes up and she's like a demon or whatnot, and starts going after them and trying to kill all of them. It's an interesting film, man. I don't know. Crazy story. Next up, we have Disturbia. I remember enjoying this one better the first time I've seen it. On a rewatch, I was kind of like, it's pretty good. It's supposed to be like, what is it? What's the Hitchcock movie? I can't think of it now. Anyway, it's pretty good. Badass werewolf film right here. Got this in the steel case. Dog Soldiers. If you have not checked that out, man, you got to see this immediately. So effing good. It says Jaws, Aliens, and Predator with a werewolf twist. Yeah, man, good shit. Then we have Descent. Good shit. Descent 2. Good shit. Dead Silence. Another shark film here that I'm not a big fan of. Deep Blue Sea 2. I heard that part 3 is better. And I hope it is. Because that was pretty bad. Alright, whatever. Alright, next up here we have Evil Dead 2. I don't know why I'm going out of order here. Where's the other Evil Dead film? There it is. OG Evil Dead. I love both of these movies. Evil Dead 2 is basically a remake of the first film, but it's done so much better. And it's a lot funnier, but not to the extent that it's like too much comedy. It's kind of hard to explain. It's a super unique film. And it has a witch in the basement. And I love witch films, so to have a witch in the basement was a nice touch. Really good shit. It's got trees like raping people in the film. The first time I've ever seen that was in the first Evil Dead. I was like, what the hell is going on? Trees are like raping people. Dog soldiers again. Do Not Disturb. I don't know why I have this as a really bad film. I think this is the last film that Corey Haim was seen in. He did a cameo in this film. Not very good. Another movie that I've not seen, Doom. With The Rock. This is actually not a bad movie right here. Exeter. I was kind of surprised by this one. 2015 film. Directed by Marcus Nispel. And if you don't know who that is, he actually directed the 2003 Texas Chainsaw Massacre remake. The one with Jessica Biel in it. You know, Texas Chainsaw Massacre. But anyway, he also directed the 2009 Friday the 13th remake. So this is definitely has like an Evil Dead vibe to it. But it's basically a possession movie where I think they're in an abandoned building in this one as well. And the possessed keeps on getting passed to the different, you know, one person will be possessed and then the demon will possess someone else. And it like passes to others. So it's pretty cool. Oh no, it's in an insane asylum. Not bad. I was surprised by that one. And then we have man, this one's very hit and miss with me, man. I'm not sure. The CGI bothers me, but the premise is so brilliant. Evil Dead, I guess this would be considered the remake. I love the fact that they take the girl away to a cabin in the woods because she's a drug addict. And she's telling them she's seeing some pretty effed up stuff. Like, speaking of trees raping people, she's telling them that she's seeing all this like insane stuff going on. And they're like, oh, you're just lying. You want to get out of here because you want to do drugs again. And all this effed up stuff's happening. So, cool concept. I like it. I'm a huge fan of Donnie Darko. Love it. This is an interesting film right here, Devil's Pass. This is shot in northern Russia, and it looks great. Where they shot the film at. This is supposed to be based on real events where some people really ended up missing and never seen again. And it's a pretty ambitious film. There's an avalanche that's filmed in this movie I mean, it looks like a real avalanche. I don't know how the F they did it. But, yeah, man, there's a lot going on with this movie, man. The last chapter is like batshit crazy. The Exorcist of Emily Rose. This is some really good shit right here, man. Robot horror. Evolver. I think what happens is this kid wins like some kind of competition and gets a free Evolver robot. And this Evolver robot is supposed to be just like a family entertainment, you know, friendly robot, right? But the guy who created this toy robot used to make robots for the military to fight in wars. And but his robots were like killing like innocent people and stuff. So, you know, he was banned and kicked out of the military or whatever, but he continued to make robots, but these toy robots end up acting like the military robots and stuff. And yeah, man, this is a lot of fun, man. This is a really cool film right here. Love it, man. Check out Evolver, man, if you have not. I think you'll enjoy it too. See, I'm almost out of that. I'm gonna need something to drink with all these movies. Let me get through this box real quick here. And I got one smaller box in the back, and then I'm gonna have to go get some more movies. Don't remember this. I think I was pretty drunk when I watched this film, because I feel like I've watched it. I know a lot of people talk good stuff about this movie, The Eyes of My Mother. Fear of Clowns. I remember that being really bad. So when I was growing up, I'll date myself here. I remember going into the, like a neighborhood rental store. Were they Blockbusters or were they just like moms and pops? I can't remember, but they would have all the regular movies out, and then they would have like a curtain, and behind the curtain would be like pornography, and then they would have Faces of Death movies. So this is Faces of Death Volume 3 and Faces of Death Volume 2. So I remember those being a big part of my childhood. A movie that I don't believe I've seen, Fatal Kiss. Vampire shit right there. This is a movie that's pretty good, man. I'm not gonna lie, I really enjoyed this. And by the way, I've never seen a movie that gives up the plot twist of the movie in the description on the back. It's the most ridiculous thing I've ever seen in my life. But anyway, Fear Farm. I was super disappointed by Fear Farm 2, man. I thought they could take it to a really cool place, and Fear Farm 2 is not worth your time, trust me. But this one was not bad, man. It says a Texas Chainsaw Massacre vibe with a bit of Rob Zombie-ish feel. Yeah, I can see that. Texas Chainsaw Massacre in the cornfields. All right, I'm a fan of Grave Encounters, the first film. I do not believe I've seen the second one. And here's part 2. And, oh shit, I'm going into G's. I shouldn't be. I still got F's going on. My bad. Let's go through these F's real quick here. Throw that G on top. I don't get confused. We have, next up here, Frogs. Bill Paxton again, and Matthew McConaughey in Frailty. People love this film. This is another one of those movies where it doesn't have great rewatchability, because once you know what the twist is, it kind of really takes from the film. All right, this is good shit right here, Found. And I think the other film that's tied to this film is called Headless. It's a pretty sick and disgusting serial killer film. And this is a serial killer film too. And by the way, in this movie, they go to a rental store at one point, and which is a cool connect to the other film. They actually rent Headless, I think, on VHS. Because this is based like in the 80s, this film right here, I think. And that was the time period in the movie. So they go home, put the VHS in the VCR, and they're watching. You get to see a clip from Headless. And one of the more disturbing scenes from Headless. And yeah, so an older brother in this film is a serial killer. The younger brother goes in his closet and finds a person's head in a bowling bag. And he realizes his brother is a serial killer. And yeah, man, this is some good shit, man. I remember really liking this one. It won some awards at some of the foreign film festivals. Next up, we have Final Destination. Then we have a franchise here. I guess I'm not supposed to be showing this, but whatever. Who cares? I'll just show it now. We have Feast 1, 2, and 3. I'm a big fan of Feast, the first Feast. I thought that the first Feast, the fact that it has, what was that show called? It was a show by Matt Damon and Ben Affleck where directors competed. I can't remember the name of it now. But anyway, they would compete, and at the end, one director would win, and they would get their backing, and the movie studio's backing, and be able to create a film. So that's what this came out of, this franchise. Now, Feast is really a really good film. Feast 2 is super over the top. This is one of the most, like, they've had movies in the past where monsters from the ocean, like swamp creatures, would have sex with women and stuff. Like, that's been a part of some of the premises of horror films. But I've never seen one where these nasty looking creatures are going around raping men and women. It's really disturbing, man. It's so freaking disturbing. I know after watching 2, 3 must be absolutely batshit nuts, man. Because it's so funny, man. Feast is they're crazy films, guys. You just gotta check them out, man. All right, now let's get to the last of this box, man. Freddy versus Jason. That factory sealed. I guess this would be considered horror. I don't know. Maybe thriller. Some horrible shit definitely happens in it. Freeway with Reese Silverstone and Kiefer Sutherland. And then Brooke Shields, I think, is his wife in the film. And Kiefer Sutherland's a serial killer. And Reese Witherspoon is the wrong teenage chick to mess with. Let me put it to you that way. Now, don't sleep on Freeway 2. Freeway 2 is actually pretty badass as well. A lot of fun. All right, we have Ginger Snaps Unleashed 2. I have not seen this one yet. I've only seen the first one. This is a sequel to the original that came out in 2000. Good werewolf movies, man. From what I hear. All of them are pretty damn good. All right, we got one more. Let me see. Another Shudder exclusive, The Furies. I have not watched this one as well. Classic Fright Night. What do we got to say about that? Friday the 13th. That's the OG one, right? Yep, that's the OG one. It's so like cliche nowadays, especially some of the younger YouTubers. Oh, I'm not a big fan of the original. That's if they rank them, they'll rank this one like number 10 or something stupid. Get over yourself. This is an absolute classic, man. If you don't have this ranked in your top 3, you don't know what you're doing. Just stop watching horror movies right now. I'm sorry, guys. I guess we can save these. I'm going to show these off because I know I'm going to get confused with the order later on, so we might as well. I got the Critters collection here. Really cool multi-pack here. Who doesn't like the Critters? So I'm going back on the letters, but you'll have to forgive me because I'm starting to get disorganized here. Next up we have, let me see, geez. Oh, here you go. Friday the 13th, the collection. It's got the first 4 in there. Do not sleep on part 4. It is amazing. Probably in my top 5. Next up here we have Ghoulies 1 and Ghoulies 2. Everybody's favorite toilet monsters. I love Ghoulies, man. Such good films. And then we have Ghoulies 4, which is actually pretty good, man. It's super cheesy, but not bad. I think Howling, what is that? Howling 4, the original Nightmare, is probably pretty bad, but the Howling movies just, they suck. Some of the later ones. All right, we finished with this box. One more movie here in the box. Godzilla versus Mega Garrus? I walked into Goodwill one day and they had like every Godzilla film on DVD ever made, and I just picked up all of them. All right, let's go to this box back here. Oh shit, it's a decent sized box too. Holy crap. Did not realize there's gonna be this many movies here. Where are we at? The G's? Let me see if there's any G's in here. Oh shit, there is. Oh my god, this is so, I'm gonna get so unorganized here. Alright, let's try to do this. Alright, so this has the Japanese and US version. Gojira, which is Godzilla, the OG. Classic shit, man. Nice presentation here as well. And the other disc is behind this nice color manual there. Oh shit, why is this not closing? Why are you not closing? Talk good about you and now you're screwing up. There we go. Alright, Godzilla versus Mechagodzilla. Godzilla versus Mothra. I remember watching that as a kid. Alright, Godzilla versus Space Godzilla and Godzilla versus Destroyer. Godzilla Final Wars. I watched this one recently, man. It's actually pretty good. It's got Don Fry, the UFC fighter, in it. He's great. He's like the star of the film. Wish he was in more shit. Godzilla Tokyo SOS. Don't ask me. Holy shit. Godzilla versus Mechagodzilla 2. If one wasn't enough, you had to have a sequel. Godzilla versus King Ghidorah. And Godzilla versus Mothra, the Battle for Earth. And then lastly, but not leastly, Godzilla, Mothra, and King Ghidorah. They're teaming up on Godzilla now. All right, so those are G's. Let me see. Oh, I got more G's here. The Grudge. Pretty creepy films. I remember, what did the old lady have in this? She had Sarah Miguel Gellar was in this, or Michelle Gellar was in this, but also what's that older lady's name? Bill Pullman's in this? I didn't even know. I didn't realize that. I forgot. I can't remember, but she has like she has that sickness where you like, maybe it's a disease where you're like catatonic, like you can't move, and she's like in the house, that old lady, and that creepy girl like starts sneaking around down the stairs or something like that. It's really creepy, man. The Grudge 2 and The Grudge 3. These movies remind me too much of Kuon, and Kuon has tormented me for so many years. All right, we have a, is this the first bear horror movie? I think so. Grizzly Park. Now, they actually used a real bear, if I remember correctly, in this film, which definitely added to it. I thought it was pretty decent. For some reason I have Gremlins here. Is Gremlins horror? I don't know. It's a good question. Gremlins? Is it horror? Let me know in the comments below. Alright, so let me see. I guess we're moving on to H's here. Absolutely a classic, The Howling. The Hills Run Red. It's actually a kind of an underrated movie. It's better than I thought it was. Not very original, but What do I got here on these notes? I don't know if those are even the correct notes. I'm just going to leave those alone. The Hills Have Eyes 2. The Hills Have Eyes. I think both of those are remakes. Yeah, those are the remakes. And The House That Dripped Blood. I think the funny thing about this movie is the house never drips blood in this film. Christopher Lee's just a legend. I'd watch anything that he's in. We got Hostel 1 and 2. And the original Hostel as well. We got a little French horror here, High Tension. I'm a big fan of that. I remember watching that when it first came out. I think I like rented it from Hollywood Video. And yeah, 2005 film. It's basically a home invasion film mixed with road horror. And it's got a very interesting twist in it, though. A lot of people were turned off by it, but I'm not. I keep meaning to go back and watch the rest of this movie, and now I can't remember if I did or not. I think I still need to go back. I think I've only watched like the first 45 minutes of it. Here Comes the Devil, an Adrian Garcia Bogliano film. And man, I remember this being really, really creepy. It really gets under your skin. Good shit. Good Mexican horror. Alright. Hills Have Eyes 2. I guess I have 2 copies of that. Are these all H's? Oh yeah, these are all H's. Alright, Anchor Bay Collection with the Slip 20th Anniversary Edition, Hellraiser. I'm a huge fan of this franchise. Here's another, like, such cliche thing to say. Oh, the original Hellraiser is not a masterpiece. It's not a classic. I'm not a big fan of it. This movie is an absolute masterpiece, guys. It is a classic. It is a masterpiece. It is a badass film. And it's the first time you've ever seen Pinhead. It's got a cool little story to it. It's different than a lot of the horror films that were out at the time. It wasn't just like Michael Myers with a knife or Jason just, you know, mindlessly killing people. That's probably why people didn't get it, but really good film. Enough preaching on my soapbox here. Hellbound, Hellraiser 2. Big fan of that one as well. Then we have Hellraiser 3, Hell on Earth. Hellraiser Hellworld. It's been a while since I've seen some of these. Lance Henriksen's actually in this one. Wes Craven's The Hills Have Eyes. This is factory sealed. The OG. Adam Green's Hatchet 2. Then we have Hansel and Gretel Get Baked. This movie's hilarious. It actually got some good practical effects and gore in it. I remember enjoying this one. This is actually pretty decent. Surprised me. Next up we have Hannibal. And that is it. I'm going to pause and we got to get more movies. Alright, actually guys, I lied. I have one more movie to show off. And I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to break this into 2 or 3 parts, this collection, because it's too big to do all in one take. Last movie I'm going to show off here, and I'll let you guys go, is Homesick. And this has Bill Moseley in it, obviously from Rob Zombie's Halloween and The Devil's Rejects. And he stars in this film as the smiling maniac named Mr. Suitcase with a briefcase full of razor blades, man. Really cool. This is a good film. I enjoy this one. It has got Tiffany Shepis in it. She's always great. And, yeah, man, good shit. Synapse Films. Check it out. says the surreal, underground, gore-drenched indie screamer is finally being released by Synapse Films in this director-approved edition loaded with extra features, starring Tiffany Shepis, Nightmare Man, and Abominable, and Tom Towles, Grindhouse, Miami Vice. Homesick is a well-shot, unsettling gore fest that thrives on both a restless atmosphere and excessively bloody effects. Let me see. Yeah, man. Homesick. Check it out. All right, guys. Thanks for checking out the video. Look forward to part 2 and possibly a part 3 coming in the next following couple of weekends here. And have a great rest of your Sunday. Hopefully you enjoyed the DVDs that I showed off so far. And I'll talk to you guys in the next video.